Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and now that all of the film has been watched and the grades are finalized, it's time to break down the 2019 NFL Draft prospect rankings. Before we dive into the prospect rankings video, let's take a look at how we go about grading these guys on film. For the skill positions, we take a look at a prospect's best and worst games statistically and the best matchup before we finalize his film grade. And from there, the player is assigned a grade on a 100-point scale. We don't believe in the term backup per se. If you're in the NFL, you're one of the best players at your position, so we consider you a starter in waiting, or at least that's how I would look at it if I'm a GM or a head coach. So without further ado, let's dive into the video with our #1 graded prospect at the position. Just like our cornerback rankings, we treat our safety rankings the same way. We evaluate them as free safeties, strong safeties, or combo safeties. And kicking off with the free safety position, Deontay Thompson of Alabama graded out as the top one in the draft class in our opinion. Range and ball skills to me is the hallmark of an excellent free safety prospect, and Thompson excels in both areas. I also like how he's able to hold his own in man coverage also. He's a fluid athlete that'll be a very good pro. Moving on to the other prospects in the top 10, Marvell Tell of USC and Sheldrick Redwine of Miami are two excellent defenders. Tell has A+ acceleration, and Redwine made a good transition to safety from corner and will only get better moving forward. Marvin Tillman of Western Carolina is an underrated prospect coming from the FCS ranks. And speaking of the FCS ranks, the Colonial Athletic Association has two of the best ones in the draft class in Monty Finner of Towson and Nasir Adderley of Delaware. Finner is a player that no one is talking about, but has interest of the NFL scouts around the league. He does a great job of baiting quarterbacks into throws and is able to fluidly flip his hips to get back across the field and make a play. He has excellent closing speed to the ball carrier or receiver and can be a bit of an enforcer over the middle of the field. Finner, in my opinion, has legit game. So does Nasir Adderley of Delaware, who had a really good week at the Reese's Senior Bowl. I think he's outstanding in the short zone area, able to plant and explode to the ball and make a play on it. His athleticism is elite, and if we're being honest, you can kind of see him becoming a corner at the NFL level. He's sort of Byron Jones-like in that regard, in my opinion. Adderley also brings you tremendous value in the return game, and I'm a big fan of the skills that he brings to the table. Looking at the rest of the free safety prospects, don't sleep on Ron LaForce of New Mexico State. He's able to shrink space pretty quickly and doesn't mind being a factor in the run defense department. He was also the leading tackler this season for the Aggies. Moving on to the strong safety position, and the top spot belongs to Mississippi State safety Jonathan Abram. I really enjoy watching him play ball. He's always at full speed and is an ace in run support. I like his speed and agility to trust him in coverage versus tight ends. He's got good awareness and doesn't take bad angles to the football. Wherever he lands in the draft, someone will get themselves a day one starter at the position. Taking a look at the rest of the top 10, Mike Edwards was solid all week long at the Senior Bowl out of Kentucky. I could also see him serving as a combo safety as a pro. He's got really good football IQ. Darius Pickett of UCLA, to me, plays with the same level of energy as Abram. Malik Gann of Marshall and Aaron Spann of the Citadel are instinctive football players that rarely have mental bust out there on the field. Both are terrific players. The SWAC produced some great safety prospects this year. Two of them landed in the top 10 of the strong safety rankings in Dylan Hamilton of Alabama A&M and Sean Jones out of Texas Southern. Hamilton is like a coach out there on the field. He's got great understanding of the passing game and what an offense is trying to do to attack them. Good feel for the running game as well, and he can thrive in both zone coverage, shallow and deep. I think he's more along the lines of a strong safety to combo guy than a free safety at the next level. He's a great tackler in space and still has some upside left in this game. As far as Sean Jones is concerned, make no mistakes about it, he's a strong safety through and through. He also served in a linebacker role for the Tigers throughout the season. He's an explosive form tackle upon contact and is one of the more consistent players in that area that I've seen in this draft class. I can see him playing that nickelbacker Deion Buchanan role as a pro. I could also see the same thing for Justin White out of Limestone College. The former Troy Trojan is the second Limestone player in the secondary to make our rankings. Wyatt is strong in run support, solid point of attack player, and on the all-star circuit, he proved that he could be trusted in man coverage versus tight ends. He's a powerful player that'll definitely have a home at the next level. Another Division II standout is JT Hassel of Florida Tech, who was up for the Cliff Harris Award as the top defensive player in Division II. He played linebacker for the Panthers, but will transition to more of a strong safety role as a pro. His extensive experience in the box only enhances what he brings to the table as a run defender. He's a fluid, athletic defender with some positional upside. Moving on to prospects 11 through 20, and I really like the game of McKinley Whitfield of Tulsa. He plays with good length and isn't a liability in zone coverage. Devonta Reynolds of North Carolina Central is a ball magnet that was moved all around the back seven in that Eagles defense. David Griffin of UL Monroe had a really good showing at the College Gridiron Showcase, building on an excellent career with the Warhawks. He played more of that nickel backer role with UL Monroe. Josh Bands of UNC Pembroke plays with a good level of patience and aggressiveness that's necessary at the position. And rounding out the list are safeties Donovan Wilson of Texas A&M and Nas Jones of Rhode Island. And finally, we move on to our combo safeties, and Taylor Rapp of Washington is outstanding on film, earning his #1 ranking. If you watch any Washington Huskies defensive film, number 7 consistently pops out on tape. His awareness to me is second to none. He plays as if he's in the opposing team's huddle. He consistently takes great angles to the football. Rapp can match up one-on-one. He can blitz. He can shadow. There's nothing he can't do on a football field, in my opinion. Taking a look at the rest of the top 10, and I'm high on this crop of combo guys. A lot of good instinctive football players on this list. Both Darnell Savage of Maryland and Amani Hooker of Iowa are premier prospects that excel in man as well as in zone coverage. Hooker is an excellent blitzer. You look at Juan Thornhill out of Virginia, was moved all around that Cavaliers defense and made at least 2 big-time plays a game. I think he can play anywhere within the back 7. Aaron Williams out of Nebraska, you hope, has shaken the injury bug that plagued him back at Lincoln. I think he's extremely versatile and can play either corner or safety. 2 FCS guys to watch in the top 10, Karan Ramsey of Alabama State and Rob Rowe of Villanova. Ramsey is the 3rd SWAC safety in our rankings. He reminds me a lot of Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie that played with the Giants and Cardinals, but may not be as explosive, but he's the same type of versatile player as a matchup boundary corner or a slot defender or deep safety. He's long, athletic, and had a strong showing at both the FCS and Tropical Bowl this past December and January, respectively. Rob Rowe was moved around the secondary at Villanova and came into the 2017 season highly touted before suffering a season-ending injury in the spring or in the summer, I believe. He came back this year and immediately became one of the better players in the Colonial Athletic Association. He's got fantastic ball skills and great anticipation, which shows itself obviously in the passing game, but also in the running game as well. At the College Gridiron Showcase, he got some work at cornerback, and just like he did at safety, he adds another tool to his toolkit that he can utilize as a pro. Marvin Conley of West Florida is a fun player to watch. He stood out to me at the FCS Bowl as a player who has A+ ball skills. He played corner, free safety, slot defender for the Argonauts under head coach Pete Shinnick. He's got great instincts with the fluidity of a corner. Someone will get themselves a steal in Conley. Mr. Harrio of Sacramento State still has upside left in this game. He was a former running back for the Hornets that moved over to the safety position. So when you look at his game, he still has positional growth left at the next level. I think he's athletic enough to play even inside as a slot defender or on the boundary and in the deep third area of the field. So keep an eye on him moving forward. Both Conley and Harrio actually finished tied in the grading, joining Mike Bell of Fresno State and Hugo Amadi as the other combo safeties in this draft class.
So that's a wrap here from the Football Game Plan Studios. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast. We can find our Scout Team podcast, which has a lot of 2019 NFL Draft prospect interviews. And also be sure to subscribe on YouTube to the Football Game Plan Network, located at youtube.com/footballgameplan.